Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We are inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, get everything you need to the cloud. I got to give you credit. I'm going to start the show giving you credit.
Okay. That's my favorite way.
So last week, I didn't want to do a show today.
You did not.
I did not want to do the show today.
We got a bowl game?
I know.
We got all kinds of really cool basketball games too. My spidey senses were slightly tingling for Duke and TT.
Yeah, great basketball.
Heels look
good. We got some quality content from Will Wade. The Panthers did the thing. The pattern holds.
I knew the Panthers were going to give us something either way.
But so as I was driving back from Hampton Roads on Sunday and catching up on some things, listening to the podcast, I'm like, Dan, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot to talk about on a Monday. And as we get down here to sit and record, the reason why I'm laughing is my phone has not stopped. We sit down, we're getting ready to record, and all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up. I'm like, what's happening? Well, what's happening, what happened was North Carolina hired Bobby Petrino to replace Freddie Kitchens.
I'm sorry. Say that again now. Out of all the choices,
Chip Kelly was right there without the jokes.
Out of all the choices, what was the answer here?
Like, is North Carolina running an experiment to see how quickly they can get everybody who likes the Tar Heels to go F that program? Like, are they assembling the most unlikable coaching staff in college football? Are they speed running SEC football? In that I know what we'll do to get atop the league. Let's hire Bobby Petrino. Look, I have thoughts. This was all going to be, we were going to do an entire little college football segment from NC State's bowl game to the college football playoff and Miami and Mario Cristobal. Like, guys, how did you not end up on the right side of tiebreakers, for heaven's sake? Come on, Mario. What are you doing, man? But anyway, these were all things we were going to talk about in the college football segment. And then I get this thrown on me, and my phone hasn't stopped. And I'll read this text.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you who it's from. This morning, I literally thought, at least UNC football isn't embarrassing me with their Michigan more mess. And then they hired the OG. Look, all I'm saying is, when Bobby gets there and you doing the get to know you, like, hey, let's hang out. If Bobby says, yeah, you want to go on a motorcycle ride? Bill, say no. Although they do have one thing in common.
No, it's not just Bill has to say no. It's very important that you don't let Jordan on the motorcycle. No. Very important.
Also, is Bill trying to see, how many state laws can I violate?
It's a choice, man.
It's an absolute choice.
If my year had gone the way that it did and the offense was as bad as it was, and I needed someone to checks notes relate to the youths, not sure the 64-year-old Bobby Petrino with a burnout record at every stop he's ever been in would have been my choice. I tell you this all the time. If you're a head coach and you don't call the plays, the most important person on your staff is the guy who calls the plays. That's who either makes or breaks your success as a football coach. Pure and simple. And if it ain't you, it better be somebody you trust. It better be somebody who'll pull you out of the fire when you need it.
Not while I'm drinking water. Somebody you trust. That man has a knack. Remember, years ago, I did a radio bit. Years ago, there was this cat that went viral. Okay. Follow me here. Okay. Follow me here. There was this cat that went viral 15 years ago at an old folks home. When the cat would sit with you, you were about to die. Okay? The cat was a reaper of sorts.
The cat knew.
Vibes are off on this human. Let me go cuddle up. Mark it for death.
Maybe the cat was a conduit to the other side that they were communicating.
Bobby Petrino has an interesting knack for going to places where he knows he might end up as the interim, which gives him an opportunity to be a head coach again, to do his shenanigans. So, just saying, Bobby's like, I found my next mark, which kind of is like marks on marks on marks, because his entire exercise has been finding the next mark. Bill Belichick found his mark in UNC. Looks like Bobby Petrino has found his next mark in Bill Belichick.
Also, if there was any doubt that after the disastrous year that North Carolina just had with Bill Belichick, that there would be some sort of governor, trying to keep him in check.
Nope.
He is not listening to anybody.
Nope.
If he sat down in a room with adults and said, hey, what's a really good idea for my OC? Bobby Petrino. Now, in fairness, Arkansas was a top 25 scoring offense this year. And I had to look it up to be like, yeah, well, in fairness, they scored 108 points against Alabama and Arkansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sort of skewed the numbers a little bit. They did score 42 on Texas A&M and 37 on Texas. So if they play, well, they do play one team from Texas next year. Mm-hmm. So that, maybe two if they play SMU. That's good. I guess that's good. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Hey, look, I want to thank.
Why are they so youth averse? Like, why can't they find like someone of a reasonable age to come in and give them a chance and see if they can coach? So Mac Brown, Bill Belichick, Bobby Petrino.
It's the people making the decisions. That's why they're not really forward thinking. They're still strapped.
In theory, these are the same people who hired Aaron Matson, or at least signed off on it.
No, I think that's no. That's a sport that the people don't care about. And Bubba can go and make adult decisions. Now suddenly we're in the.
Hey, we just hired someone who's really young and eager and is smart, and we won a national championship.
Look, it's already been a great day. Ken and Ashley, who have been huge supporters of the podcast from the jump and even back before that. Ken dropped by, and we've got the cheese straws, which are fantastic.
Already broken the mud.
Oh, did you?
My wife's not going to be happy with me. They might not make it home.
He also handed us some cigars.
Yeah.
These Ashton cigars, a variety of them. You've got the Robusto, you've got the Eclipse, the Torpedo, the Sorcerer, and the Wizard. I'm intrigued by these. Would it be foul of me to re-gift this to my dad?
I did get you a Christmas gift.
Did you? Because after last year, I didn't bother.
No, I know, but I forgot because
I don't know how I'm going to top the Tyreek Hill.
No, I know, but there's a tradition of me trying to find something that's actually useful to you.
Yeah.
Or something that I like.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So number one was the Cat Dad mug that you infamously lost.
Somebody stole it. I love that fucking mug. I don't know where it is.
It was a crowning achievement of my life that I found something that you actually
I loved that mug. I really did.
So then I graduated to calendars. I can just give it away because I forgot to give it to you today.
Oh, okay.
I found I would get you cat calendars.
Yes.
Because cats are the theme. Mm-hmm. There's one thing. Well, there was two options as we what is that called? Filibuster here as we get into the lot to get into.
Yeah, we're just vibing.
You ready?
Today. We're just vibing today.
So I'm in Target yesterday.
Yeah. And
there's a game. And I said to my wife, I go, it was a Disney trivia game.
Oh, jeez.
And I looked at it and I go, I'm going to tell you one thing that we've done really, really well as a parent. I said, our kids wouldn't know a single fucking answer to any of those questions.
That's fair.
That was completely by design.
That's fair.
I am not letting you people imbibe anything Disney. So you're at like 6 years old, like, why don't we go to Disney and you sell all of your organs so that we can go to Disney, Dad? It's like, no. Okay. But I was like, who would kick ass and really enjoy this? Fucking Ovies. But then I said, he doesn't like gifts. So I'm not getting it for him.
Okay. That's fine.
So I kept walking. I kept moving. And then I get to the calendar section.
Yeah.
And they had cats, but I was like, no, I've done that already.
Yeah.
They have a national park calendar. And it looks really, really cool. And I was like, this would serve as both a calendar and you can check off
which ones I've been to.
Parks that you've been to. Because I noticed a couple of them on there that I know you've been to.
Yes.
So I was like, man, this is a really good gift. So I did get you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I won't re-gift that.
Yeah. Well, you got to hang it in the studio as
there's
per our tradition.
As per tradition. But wouldn't be foul if I re-gifted this as my dad. Right?
No, your dad would actually appreciate them. So in a way.
Okay. It's a gift from Ken to my dad.
Correct. In a way, you're saying to your dad, who's also an OG.
Yes.
And proprietor of this program.
Bank of Ovies.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're saying, hey, here's a way I'm going to take care of you by this very thoughtful gift from another
from
OG.
Ken.
Yeah. But you will actually use these.
I might actually smoke. I have not had a cigar in a really long time.
I had one on Friday.
Oh, nice. How you feeling?
Shouts to Brett.
How you feeling?
My guy, Andy.
How you feeling?
I feel okay. I mean,
Okay, good.
I went hard in the natural light paint.
You must have kept
no liquors.
Oh, so I was going to say you must be keeping it. You must have kept it 2 beer because you were actually with it today. Because typically it takes you a couple of days to
well, because anybody can podcast on a Monday.
You're right. And honestly, sorry, I think the reason why we're a little discombobulated today, because I was not, I mean, I had everything written down and I was not expecting UNC to go out and hire Bobby, or at least announce the hiring of Bobby Petrino.
Bobby Petrino. And that is a choice.
That is a choice. Absolute choice.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
Look, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, man. I'm not.
Anyone can podcast on Monday.
This is true, caller from a 919. You're absolutely right. Anybody could podcast on a Monday, just like anybody could have seen the Carolina Panthers pattern this season and said, "Yep, they're gonna win the NFC South. They're gonna freaking do it. They're gonna do it. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss." All right. Well, I mean, never forget the reason why I almost did not graduate from NC State is because I had made a mistake with my math requirements.
Okay.
I
don't know this story.
I thought I had taken all the correct math. I did not. I was missing a class. I was two credit. So I was 2 credit hours short.
And take a late math?
No. Funny thing about that, I wasn't required to take a late math. I just needed 2 more credit hours, and it could have been anything.
Okay.
So I took a fitness walking class, which was a mistake.
Yeah.
I rather would have taken.
Told you that.
I should have taken more calculus instead of doing fitness walking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I took a debate class, which I shared with Adrian Wilson of all people.
Okay.
How about that, right?
Yeah, you
anyway,
GM of the Cardinals.
Yeah. Anyway, so I know I kind of missed out on math, but I can identify a pattern when I see one.
Okay.
Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So I said, hey, look, last week, the Bucs, you see them this weekend and then the final weekend of the season. As things play out, you'll beat them twice. You'll beat them this week. You'll lose to the Seahawks, and because Seahawks actually have something to play for real. And then you'll beat the Bucs again in week 18. And then you're off to win the NFC South, and you're going to go off to the playoffs. Bad news, in the wild card game, you'll lose it because of the win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. But it doesn't matter. That's not the point. You're back in the playoffs. That's what matters.
Okay.
That's what matters. You're also a dog in this game. They're a 3-point dog to the Bucs. What happened? They ended up beating the Bucs. So the pattern holds. The Carolina Panthers are in control of the NFC South. All they got to do, again, I don't see the situation playing out that they beat the Seahawks and the Dolphins beat the
do
Bucs.
some sort of miracle for them.
I don't see that happening this weekend.
Right.
Also, it doesn't hold to the pattern. And then hopefully we will get a Sunday night football flexed game so that everybody can watch with their own eyes the atrocities of the NFC South.
Okay.
That's what I want America to see week 18, Sunday night football, the NFC South on the line with the Panthers having an opportunity to clinch. I really thought, it's interesting with the Panthers. That game really was their season in a nutshell. Their entire season in one game on display, from the patterns to the gambling odds to the way Bryce Young played early on, getting stepped on by Austin Corbett, looking somewhat immobile, not really being able to do much, but also at the same time making critical throws in critical moments, whether it was 12 seconds to go before half, where it looked like they were going to settle for a field goal. You're going to get one shot at the end zone with the amount of time that was left. Nailed it with Teteroa McMillan in the end zone. Just a beautiful pass, beautiful reception, great call, touchdown going into the half. You also had him getting over being stepped on by Austin Corbett to keep a play alive and to find Xavier Legette in the end zone. Great play by Bryce, great catch, awesome stuff. And then, most importantly, third down, critical third down to keep the play alive as they're going down the field to at least settle for a field goal and take the lead. The whole game-winning drive, Bryce Young stuff is right there for him. Great pass on a third down to Jalen Coker, who was defensively held, breaks free, catches that, and then moves on. Another thing about this as well, I know that online people have been going on and on and on about missed calls here and there, but the Panthers also benefited from a missed call. They ended up catching the Buccaneers on a hold on that punt when it should have been a roughing the kicker, but they called the hold instead. It is what it is. And of course, that leads to ultimately the game-winning field goal. And then you got Ransom, redemption for Ransom. The week before, you get the late hit on Tyler Shuck. That extends the drive. The Saints go on to win that game. In this situation, they take advantage of what has been just a bad end to Baker Mayfield's season. They've lost 6 of their last 7, 6 of 7, if you will. And then, we still doing that, by the way? And then he's been throwing picks. He's been spraying it everywhere. And he finally did it with Ransom's interception to end the game. So, look, it really was just a Panthers season in one game. And the building looked great. Yeah, obviously, I was not there. I was watching it on TV. That looked like classic 10 years removed Panthers, Bank of America Stadium. Everybody's invested in this team. They've brought people back. And now they got 2 weeks left with an opportunity to win the NFC South, Joe. It's good stuff.
A true General Nealon's axioms kind of game. The team that makes the fewest mistakes will win.
Yep.
And just quick correction, because Xavier Leggett couldn't catch a cold. It was JT Sanders.
Oh, JT Sanders. Sorry.
Who caught the touch. Yeah.
JT Sanders was the one.
Poor Leggett is a sunk cost. They just
bad.
need to part ways with him already, I think. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
What a weird, like, if you just look at the box score, you're like, Rico Dowdle had 29 yards and Chuba Hubbard at 27. And again, Bryce Young can't throw over 200 yards. And it's like, no, defensively, they did what they needed to do. Again, this kind of goes back to those Dolphins and Cowboys wins, which you could be dismissive of early in the season when the Cowboys were struggling and the Dolphins were also a bag of shit. But they kept trading paint in those games. They kept taking punches and answering. And we've seen that pattern now a few times with them, including the Rams game, where they'll get in a game and you're going to think, well, the other team just took the lead and it's over. And it's like, no, they come back. And it's been their defense that's really closed things out most of the times this year. Given where that defense was at the end or all of last year.
I was going to say, we've gone this long. We've gone this long. We haven't talked about Derek Brown, who continues to make plays.
I was literally just about to say, from the person who voted for Caleb Downs as the Heisman.
Yes.
Like, Derek Brown deserves to be on somebody's MVP ballot. Mm-hmm. He deserves to be on somebody's MVP ballot. Mm-hmm. If for no other reason, remember the year the Colts went 0-16 without Peyton Manning, and I think somebody was smart enough to vote him that year as an MVP.
You're making those jokes. Did you see the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes this weekend?
God. Talking about a franchise that has quit.
I mean,
don't ever lose the Super Bowl. I try to tell you.
Well, if you're the Eagles too, never win the Super Bowl as well.
They're back on track.
They'll be fine.
They're back on track.
They'll be fine. It is what it is. But yeah, look, health has been one of the reasons why the defense has not lived up to what people expect out of Panthers defense in years past, right? And yes, sometimes it's that simple. Oh, you got one of the best players back on the field? That's going to make a big difference if you're the Carolina Panthers and having Derek Brown out there. So
makes everybody better, though.
Yeah.
True, valuable. That's what the V stands for.
Yep. Now, the other thing, too, that is coming home to roost for the Panthers and why you should be optimistic after what was a low point earlier this season. Let's not dismiss the fact that the way the season started gave people all sorts of concern for
PTSD. I mean,
all sorts of concern for Dave Canales, Bryce Young. What's the future direction? Who stays? Who goes? Like all that kind of stuff. The one thing is the whole season is coming into focus as we pull out a little bit. A lot of credit goes to the front office and Dan Morgan, for the picks that they've made who have been impactful this season. Tedero McMillan has been a impactful player this year.
Scorton out there making some plays.
Ransom making plays. All those things do add up and gives you reason for optimism going forward as they're currently constructed. And I've kind of, we talk a lot about being at peace with Dave Dorn, which we'll talk about a little bit later on as we get an update to the cycle of Dave Dorn. I've come to terms with Bryce Young as quarterback. Pick up his 5th-year option. He has done enough this year that you know what you're working with. And I've said this a lot this year as they've been in this win-loss pattern. He has shown you enough that he can make game-winning plays. Those stats that you brought up, what were the final stats for Bryce Young in this game? 21 of 32 for 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. If you get caught up in the counting stats, and you focus on 21 of 32 for 191 yards, you're going, well, that's not a franchise QB. That's not a guy who's playing at a Super Bowl caliber level. Understandable. But let's get away from the counting stats and look at the individual plays that put the Panthers in a position to win. And you can say definitively this year, ups and downs and things that you'd like to have back. Bryce Young has consistently made plays when it matters. Consistently made throws in critical moments that have put the Panthers in a position to win. That's all you need from your quarterback if you're built in other ways to win, like the defense stepping up there late to make that thing work. So I like where the Panthers are now, certainly from where we were at the beginning of the season. And going into this offseason, knowing what you have in Bryce Young and getting better around it, knowing what you have in the young defensive group and adding pieces to get better. And as the pattern holds, they should win the NFC South. They should win the NFC South. But yeah, that was honestly the only real thing that I took away from this NFL weekend. I mean, I know that the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers ended in a weird way with not one but two offensive pass interferences.
Oh, that
just brutal.
That was bonkers. Even Jim Nantz was like, "Oh, what?
Yeah,
what's
happening
There was
here?
a big whoa."
Yeah,
that's a man who's seen a lot of football too. By the way,
yeah. That was kind of weird. You know, I know. Speaking of the Steelers and the Lions, everybody's now caught up in the Mike Tomlin. You know, was it 19 seasons now with a winning record when it's all said and done?
Mm-hmm.
So it's. I don't think it's been a vintage NFL season by any means, like in terms of like dominant teams, good storylines. I think we're all just kind of in a waiting pattern for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen and not having, you know, Patrick Mahomes in the mix, and the Ravens are the Ravens. Drake May's been a great story.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the start of the season for the Panthers and their struggles, because I think all of us were like, oh my God, they suck. They're 1-3. Can we now go back and look and say, Jacksonville,
yeah,
they're not bad.
Yeah.
Arizona was bad because of the way that they played, but
yeah,
okay, fine. You had one bad game. The other loss was to New England, who we were like, last place team, Jacksonville, last place team.
Yeah.
Well, and by the way,
that was an impressive win.
Also, by the way, as we continue on themes that Giglio enjoys,
what are you gonna get? What are you gonna do? What difference does the coach make? What are you gonna do?
Liam Cohen, the latest and greatest example of, hey man, sometimes you need someone who's young, someone who's hungry, and someone who has an idea of what they're doing with your quarterback and calling plays. Sometimes it can be really just that easy. Sometimes it can be. I promise it doesn't always work, but sometimes, guys, it can be just that easy.
We're talking about lines, and the Panthers continue to do otherworldly things when they're a dog. Sure enough, they are a dog against the Seahawks at home. They are plus 7.5 against the Seahawks. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be down at Miami. Again, NFC South implications here on the line. The Bucs are 5.5-point favorites on the road against the Miami Dolphins. I don't think that the underdog streak will continue for the Panthers in this game, but I do think that their every other week win-loss pattern will. And we'll be talking about the NFC South champion, Carolina Panthers. Has a nice ring to it. We haven't thought about that in a hot minute. We got Monday Night Football tonight. Phillip Rivers rides again.
Phillip. Can we get a Wolf Blood exacta again? Can we get a Rivers to Josh Downs?
Let me
exacta.
Well, it's funny.
It'll just be Josh Downs' first touchdown.
I had 44 cents left in my account, so I was going to try to do like a build it back up fun type thing. So I made the mistake of going, trying to find like the cycle of Dave Dorn, right? I was like, they'll be tied at I did a halftime end.
For
44 cents to try to get back up to like $10.
Sure,
right? I'm like, they'll end up tied against Memphis at the half, and then they'll end up winning the game. Like everybody will sweat it, but NC State will win comfortably. Memphis, especially with NC State having their entire team in this game, right? So it'll follow that pattern. I was wrong about that, so I'm down to $0 to replenish. But I'm looking at this. I don't see a Wolf Blood exacta.
No, you just need Josh Downs to be your first touchdown scorer.
Okay,
because that would be Phillip passing it to him.
Got it. Got it. All right. Just something to.
Josh Downs' father, Gary, played running back at NC State. His two sons, one went to Carolina.
Yeah.
One went to Alabama, then Ohio State.
Hey, look, these are all the kind of fun things that we can do on DraftKings. We got the college football playoff and bowl games as well. Look, holiday football is here, and with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, the unexpected can turn game day into payday. And don't forget, with DraftKings, they've got your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash, which honestly, with Phillip Rivers and his age, could come in handy.
In play.
I see you, Phillip, re-upping your health insurance.
The Phillip.
I see you. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that promo code OG25. Again, that's OG25. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through a per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. You can check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean, clean with Enovana.
Enovana coming to the house tomorrow. Get the house nice and clean ahead of the holidays. Maybe you're looking for a last-minute gift, a stocking stuffer. Give the gift of a clean house. Go to enovana.com.
It's actually a really good idea.
Put that in the stocking. And then the house will get a nice deep clean when the holidays are over. Big thanks to Mikey P. Secret Stash. He's added some things to the Secret Stash. You can check that out.
Mugs.
At the OG.shop. Again, that's the OG.shop.
It's like it reads my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
I got a nice text from our guy, Brett, too, who was like, hey, he sent me the Bullfrogs hoodie.
Mhm.
He's like, you got to do something with these Bullfrogs. And I said, Joe's been pining for a Bullfrog.
I have been, yes.
So I sent it to Mikey P, and he goes, well, we're having a meeting.
Oh, we're having a meeting right now?
Yeah. He said that he was penciling that in the back of his brain as the logo for OG Lime, the Bullfrog. And I was like, Jack Nicholson, departed. Yes.
Well, I need Mike to finish the NASCAR shirt first.
I know.
Yes.
Mikey P is a mad genius.
You
got to let him work at his own pace sometimes.
I like that you let him work at his own pace as opposed to me. And you get all passive aggressive about, oh, no, that's a clean background.
I did like your background today. Did you keep it or no, you didn't go back to it?
Well,
It was your festive background.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out to Anna. She put that together last year.
Speaking of meetings, we're having more meetings here.
Okay.
So we're obviously a big podcast on a Monday.
Yes.
But we'll have our year in review OG25. It is locked and loaded into your podcast platform and YouTube to drop midnight, December 24th, 25th.
Preposterous. I love it.
It'll be there waiting for you Christmas morning as you open up gifts, got your Yule log, enjoying your spiced mulled wine. And then we'll be on for 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 52 seconds.
Wow. That's a lot of OG. It's a lot.
It is. So again, that's dropping this week. We will be back for a mailbag next week. Okay. So by all means, if you would like to put in for your OG listener 2025 review, the highs, lows, your favorite moments of the year.
Still trying to figure out what this note over here about Rick's Cabaret means.
I still haven't gone through that yet.
March 26th. There was a call about Rick's Cabaret.
By all means,
clearly caught my attention.
Call the sports phone.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
I am double row backed up today.
You are.
I got the
Melakaliki Maka.
I don't know about me and quarter zips. I'm trying.
You say that. There's nothing wrong with what you're
I
wearing.
don't think I have the right neck for a quarter zip.
I don't know what that means.
You know, I don't know, man. Like, or maybe it's the beard. I've let it get too bushy, so it's like not.
No,
quite.
it's better with the shirt. You made him right move by putting the shirt
by putting the Mela Kalikimaka polo underneath this. So if I was just wearing one of my Roback base T-shirts,
I don't think
they would look silly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Anyway, it's comfortable.
It's great.
They
They
have
have the most comfortable shirts on the planet.
So didn't get what you wanted on Christmas? Go to Roback. Use our promo code. We'll give you the gift of 20% off.
OG20.
We're always there for you. Use that promo
We
code
are.
OG20. Again, that's OG20. Did you not really handle your finances all that well in 2025? It's possible.
Smoke your feelings away.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? You know what? When I get my December credit card statement,
Joe Camel.
yeah, I was gonna say when I get my December credit card statement, my dad might only get 4 of these 5 because right now that torpedo is looking really good when I look at that.
The things we advocate for inadvertently.
Anyway,
because you know why? You got to work about your insurance. Well, Matt Davis, he's got you.
He's got you, and he can also help you financially plan
All your
for
insurance
2026.
Yep.
So head on over to insuregarner.com or call him directly at 919-779-8277. He's going to save you money on home and auto, and he'll help you reach those long-term goals with some financial planning, which everybody could use that. Everybody could use that. Just like your grill could use a deep clean. Okay. So go to ncgrillrescue.com. You'll probably put it through the paces this week. Maybe you got family coming over for the holidays. Maybe you got New Year's plans. Or maybe you are done with the football season. Tailgating's over, but you want to get ready for the spring because we got Canes playoff hockey tailgating concern yourself with. We want to make sure your grill's in tip-top shape. So get it deep clean with our friends at ncgrillrescue.com. Again, that's ncgrillrescue.com.
No need to bury your barbecue. Call NC Grill Rescue. And now it's time for your NC Grill Rescue of the week.
I mean, clearly, Bill Belichick needs a rescue from himself and the people he wants to hire at UNC. I mean, is it not that simple?
No reason to overthink this.
No, Bill. UNC needs to be saved. It needs a rescue from Bill Belichick. That's what needs to happen. Go to ncgrillrescue.com. Also, big thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. Guess where I'll be going tomorrow?
Get some ham biscuits.
Got to get some ham biscuits. I'll be at a neighborhood Christmas Eve brunch. I will be bringing the ham biscuits. Need a last minute stocking stuffer? Steak of the month. Ooh. Who doesn't want the gift of meat? So head on over to the Butcher's Market and get everything you need there. Whether it's steak of the month, last minute potluck, perhaps you need a side. You have to bring a side dish. They have all of that there at the Butcher's Market. So again, go check them out at thebutchersmarkets.com. Well, we started the show with a curveball. See, I just got another text. I guess we're just opening a nursing home for old coaches who like to have young girlfriends. What on earth? See, my phone has not stopped with that news.
Of all the choices. Seriously, of all the choices. I know that can't be a threat to him. Like, I get that part of it.
Yeah.
But surely.
Mm-hmm.
You just wait for TJ Yates. His season's over like in 2 weeks.
Right.
Go get TJ Yates.
No,
bring him back.
Like you said, it is a choice. It is a choice.
Hell, Ben Johnson can send TJ Yates the playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Former teammates. Yeah. Like, come on, guys. We can do this. It's okay. Honestly.
Like, I get that Chip Kelly, like the whole thing about Chip Kelly has been kind of exposed over time, right? Like Chip Kelly.
What do you mean? They just won the national title the year before. He was Ohio State's play caller.
You're going to put that on Chip Kelly? Just like Matt Patricia gets all the credit for. Oh, you mean he has dudes to work with?
Everybody has to have players.
Yeah, everybody has to have players.
Joe, but I think Chip Kelly's the one who went to Ryan Day after that Michigan loss last year and said, "Hey, just so you know, we don't get any extra points for being tougher and running the football." Like, this receiver we have is amazing. Like maybe we should involve him. And then of course he absolutely urinates all over Tennessee and everybody in the playoffs.
No,
other than the semifinal game, he did not have a great game.
okay, well, I think you're just hitting on the issue here, though. Is that does UNC have any of that for Chip Kelly to work with?
No, but I'm slightly confused why you're hung up on Chip Kelly. Like there's a lot of options.
Oh, no. You're right about that. You're right. No,
No,
the reason why I keep bringing up Chip Kelly is that going into the weekend, the reports were that it was Chip Kelly or Bobby Petrino were
okay.
Those were the two names that were attached to this job.
Okay.
So you decide of the two. I mean, and again, I don't know. I have to, again, we're just getting this news today. So I got to go see what Andrew Jones has to say. I got to see what Greg Barnes has to say about what happened. The machinations that brought Petrino here.
Because Chip Kelly just left his job. Oh, he was with the Raiders.
With the Raiders.
Oh, God, he was with Brady.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. That must be the case. Anyway, sorry, we're still a little discombobulated by this as it relates to Bobby Petrino.
Are we ever going to make sense of why they hired Bobby Petrino?
No,
I think I said it. It can't be somebody who's threatening. If you go and get somebody young, then all of a sudden it becomes, well, TJ Yates, why isn't he that?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, there is that. You're a Carolina guy, all that kind of stuff. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And I guess he's run out of his own kids.
Yeah,
And then all of the other offensive, I mean, I guess it's better than Joe Judge.
Yeah.
Which he tried one of the years
Yeah.
in New England.
I guess he could have tried Matt Patricia. Hey, I know you've been doing a good job defensively.
It was Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, the 1 year as co-offensive
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so Patricia's gone back to defense.
Yeah.
Maybe he says, hey, you want to try that offense thing
Do it
again?
again.
You want to do it again?
Yeah.
See if it works here at this level? No, clearly that's not the case. Anyway, speaking of college football,
So many choices.
speaking of college football, I see you've made an addition to the cycle of Dave Dorn. So congratulations to NC State on Friday. They did the thing. They finally won a bowl game for the first time in what, 5 years?
Nope, first time since 2017.
2017?
Yeah.
Damn, man, I didn't realize it was that long.
It was the first bowl win of the Dave Doran 2.0 era.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
And by the way, kicked their ass.
Oh no, from the jump.
From
the jump. I
was
settled
like,
in.
oh, Noah Rogers is on the team. Oh, that's interesting.
I settled down on Friday afternoon, and I had the game on in the background,
Mhm.
and I thought they were showing like a CJ Bailey highlight from earlier in the year. I went, oh no, that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like right out of the gate. I see it's going to be one of those kind of games for NC State. Good for the Wolfpack. Good for Dave. And now
Here we are.
Where does that put us on the cycle of Dave Doran?
Well,
Joe?
it usually is lose the bowl game, but now
Yes.
it's win or lose bowl game. Catch strays on the OG Sports one. So that's where he's going to be. You know this until we get towards the beginning of the year, and then it becomes, hey, season starts. Maybe. And I already saw our friend Brian Murphy say, hey, NC State's got sleeper potential for 26 with that schedule.
Speaking of the sports phone from a 910.
We have a new Dave Doran cycle. There is no such thing as what is printed. We got to go. Thank you.
Got to get in.
New Todd Turner.
Got 3 losses, and you should be out of here.
What? So confused by that call. Todd, what about
That's
Todd
a
Turner?
callback.
Is Todd Turner catching strays now?
No, Todd Turner deserves all of the strays.
He catches
sir.
all the strays.
All of
He catches all the strays. I understand that. That's another brief history of Triangle Good we can get into in the summertime if you'd like to explain that one. I talked to Todd Turner recently about beer sales at Carter Finley Stadium.
You did?
Because of the
Not his
Skyhawks.
kid?
Because of the Skyhawks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So he was the one that got in the way of beer sales at Carter Finley Stadium. But that's neither here nor there.
Would you like to have a meeting?
Another one?
We're having another meeting?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to get serious here.
It's okay.
With the passing of Jim Hunt.
Yes.
Former governor
yeah.
North Carolina. Jim Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
Wolfpack, Wolf Blood,
Yeah.
undergrad.
Yeah.
Jim Hunt, law school, Carolina.
Okay.
So he's both.
Yeah.
He is the hugging ram and wolf behind you. So I have reached out to our contacts in the governor's office. I've reached out to our guy Roy Cooper, and I'm going over to UNC tonight. I already texted Bubba Cunningham. I said, listen, I think it's time that there's a trophy for North Carolina and NC State when they play.
Jim Hunt.
And it should be named in honor of Jim Hunt for the 2 schools that he went to and loved so much. So hopefully we can get the ball rolling on that. That might need
That'd be cool.
We will need NC State to agree to something that is my idea. Keep in mind, but
yeah,
if I let someone else advance it, maybe if I just tell Bubba tonight that it's his idea,
then it'll work
to honor Jim Hunt in a way that it's been interesting to see because the cross section of people we truly used to be, or maybe still are, a purple state, and Jim was one of those Democrats who really appealed to more of a centrist thought process, but obviously at his heart, when you believe in education, that's going to put you on the blue side there.
Now, you're absolutely right about decision makers at NC State not listening to you. So you're going to have to back.
It's going to have to be somebody else's idea.
You're going to have to back.
I'm going to advance it to Bubba tonight.
Yes,
and see if he can get the ball rolling on a way to honor Jim Hunt for his 2 schools.
Good idea. Good idea.
But it could be that. It could be the Ram and Wolf.
Yeah, embracing.
Yeah,
in the matter
and put it
of
on like this
good.
big thing where you would just put the year in the color.
Yeah,
the year you win, you get to put it in the color blue or red.
No, that's a good idea. I like that. Speaking of ideas, what do we make of the bowl win exactly?
Well, I think it was
because I always keep the same energy when it comes to these bowl games. In the grand scheme of things, they don't really, especially with the transfer portal and how everything works out. I'm not quite sure what this tells you going into the next year. Losing all these bowl games since 2017 hasn't really impacted NC State's season one way or the other than counting stats and some milestones. And again, in the grand scheme of things, it hasn't really had any sort of carryover effect, in my opinion. And it's even less impactful because of the transfer portal and everything else that goes with it. The only real question that I have coming out of the bowl game for NC State is we have clarity with Darian Mensah at Duke. We don't have clarity with CJ Bailey, at least at last check.
Yeah, and I kind of hate that it's not only now Miami that needs a quarterback, but Florida as well.
Right.
So that's going to be hard to keep him for those specific reasons, right? But I think you're wrong about the bowl losses.
Okay.
Texas A&M get you to 10 if you win that game.
Well, that's why I said the milestones. The milestones.
The Pop-Tarts get you to 10 if you win that one.
But those are impactful for I was talking about a carryover. What does it mean going into the next season?
No. There is no carryover.
There is no carryover.
Other than now, you for the first time, literally since 2017, you get to say, we won our bowl game. We ended our year the right way. Like,
sure.
If they had lost, it becomes still part of the cycle. You see what I'm saying? So the first step to breaking the cycle, the first step to one pack, one goal, which Dave mentioned after the game,
he did,
is to finally win the ACC championship. Well, hey man, if this helps you do that, via con Dios.
Sure, but
it helps you avoid.
The first step isn't winning the bowl game. The first step is making sure you can get all your particular playmakers back. And CJ Bailey is certainly one of them.
Hey, listen, I would also just like the way that they finished the season in crisis mode. Let's just start the year in crisis mode. How about that? Well, I just have an idea for
this. This is
like
theory.
Noah Rogers, like lighting the world up. You're like, oh yeah, wait, this guy's on your team. Yes,
there is an element of NC State that you ask, what if you made the entire season of your back up against the wall? What would happen?
Hey, let's just pretend we're always in crisis mode.
I mean, to a certain extent, beating ECU to start the season was a carryover. If we wanted to talk about carryover effect of crisis mode, in that you were embarrassed in the Military Bowl and you wanted to come out. Now, that game it wasn't gangbusters.
Right.
I mean, it was
first 20 minutes were.
It was a classic. it was a classic Dave Dorn special for a lot of people, which again is part of that cycle. Start the season, win some games, catch some strays on the OG Sports Phone, right? As you said at the beginning of the year. And how we kind of start our OG year in review. Dave Dorn, NC State wins, but Dave Dorn loses, right? So how do you break out of that? Well, this is one way to do it. You win your bowl game so you can get out of that talking point. Well, like at the end of the year, we had Steve all joyful over just kicking Carolina's ass, but without hesitation. Yeah, awesome. Now he can go lose his bowl game and we'll start this all over again. So, okay, so you've stopped that. So you can get that talking point out of your system. But also another part of breaking the cycle is you're in an international game where all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
NC State has not done well in those games when all eyes are on you.
No, it's the immovable force against the irresistible object or whatever it goes.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't lost to Virginia. And he opens with Virginia, but
And-
it is an international spotlight game.
It is a spotlight game, straight up spotlight game. How do you break out of that? So these are all things that we can discuss as we kind of cycle through the offseason for NC State.
It kind of reminds me of the time Ruff and McNeil. It was the week before they played West Virginia. West Virginia was running hot with Pat White and those kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to Ruffin, they were playing Old Dominion. This was when Old Dominion had first made the jump to a 1A team. And just to kind of ask them a question, like, hey, you got the big game next week. And he said, let me stop you. He goes, they're all big games. And if you don't think Old Dominion's a big game, try losing it. See what happens. And fair enough. That's what I think of when I think of this bowl game. Hey, Memphis, new coach, missing some players. Sure enough, not the same team that beat Arkansas. Checks notes earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But I think it was more important to avoid another bowl loss than the whatever the value holds for the carryover to next season.
One last thing about CJ Bailey in the quarterback position.
I'm going to give you a hot take on this too.
Where do they go? Let's say CJ Bailey is not back in an NC State uniform next year.
I think it's Will Wilson.
But what about Will Wilson?
He wasn't just a running back in high school.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. And he had a very specific role and a very successful one this season for NC State. But I just don't know if that's the... Can he throw the ball?
Yeah. He
When's
did
the last
in high school.
When's the last time we saw him throw the ball in college, though?
He did in high school.
That's not my point.
Right. He threw 5 passes this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't... That's,
almost a pick.
So I'm not trying to be cavalier about this.
Sure.
I think it's a legitimate concern that he has a very specific, defined, and successful role at quarterback with NC State. But as a full-time starter, I don't know if that's the move.
Well, I think it's important that we have to give Dave credit for his track record of what he does and what he does right. And you go back to Devin Leary, you go to MJ Morris, you go to CJ Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knows how to identify quarterbacks.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I give him full credit for that. And just looking at Will Wilson's bio, coach's son, threw for 2,000 yards in high school, Mr. Football in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He's an accomplished quarterback. I don't think they get him back if CJ comes back. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think he's going to have options if he's not.
You can't Chris Lee, Tim Tebow this thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's a reason to choose him over CJ, but I'm saying if CJ is sitting here negotiating with you, and let's just be like super honest, I have no inside information about CJ Bailey. None.
Fine.
All I know is Miami needs a quarterback and Florida needs a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two programs with a lot of money. And Florida in particular starting over with Summerall. And they're going to want, like, wouldn't you rather have CJ Bailey in his third year of college, an established veteran quarterback, over rolling the dice over some freshman?
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
So this kind of reminds me of the Florida State Miami situation from Cam Ward, remember?
Although if you're CJ Bailey and Miami comes calling, I get you're going back home, but like if you're Dave Dorn, you can say,
what's your record there?
So
how'd you play there?
It's not even about your record or how you played there. And like, so what about Mario Cristobal gives you any indication that he's going to put his best playmakers in a position to win?
But it does remind me of the Miami-Florida State fight over Cam Ward.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Cam Ward from Washington State comes into the portal and the price just kept going up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're NC State and that price goes up and up and up and up, can you do the same things that you did this year with Will Wilson next year?
Yeah.
At a lower price? I actually think you can, to be perfectly honest with you.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Again, this is just the recurring theme of the day. I'm going to put this on the screen.
Okay.
I'm just going to put this on the screen. I'll describe it for the podcast only audience, but again, my phone has not stopped. It truly is a Festivus miracle.
Nothing happens in the triangle in a vacuum.
Oh my goodness. This is a screen grab of something that was clearly shared on Facebook. A match made in heaven, and it's Bobby Petrino. AI is out of control. It's Bobby Petrino in a neck brace, wearing North Carolina gear on a bike with Jordan Hudson sitting next to him. Just, did they not think this through? Clearly not.
I cannot get in their mindset, so I can't.
I'm sorry.
I can't do it. I don't know. So I can't. My brain does not work at that level.
Speaking of brains working at certain levels, I have to admit my brain does not work at the level of a national college football pundit. My brain does not work at the level of Joel Klatt, apparently, who had not one but two awful takes over the weekend as it relates to the college football playoff. And now we don't want Cinderella. March Madness is a terrible, flawed system, blah, 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 blah. Sure, whatever. Or Joe Tessitore in the middle of a broadcast, pleasuring himself at the thought of Notre Dame in this game against Ole Miss. It's really interesting. I think there are two. I jotted this down over the weekend and watching these games unfold and the discourse that happens on television versus the discourse that takes place on social media with college football writers, podcasters, right? There's two distinct conversations taking place. On the television side, like the Joel Klatts of the world and everything else, it really comes down to just the fantasy booking of these name brand teams. Whether the games are good or not is immaterial, because I'll get to that point in a second. They want the fantasy bookings. They want Notre Dame versus Ole Miss. They don't want JMU or Tulane in these situations because, hey, they probably don't really watch those teams in the grand scheme of things. And also, they're only thinking with one mindset, and that is, what does this mean for television? What makes this property more valuable? What elevates college football to a much more national discussion? Well, these are the teams that everybody knows, and those are the games that people want to see. So from a television brain, I see where it's coming from. I think it's just unfortunate that it's bled over into play-by-play, for heaven's sake. The play-by-play guys are talking about this now. It's not just the Joel Klatts of the world. And then you go online and you follow all your college football people, and they're all saying essentially the same thing. Hold up. Y'all are caught up in this blowout that's unfolding between Oregon and JMU. Keep in mind that that game was closer in score than the Tennessee game last year, in which they lost by more points to, what was it, Ohio State. Speaking of Oregon, they imploded on a national stage in a college football game. Notre Dame, who everybody's pining for, has been embarrassed by Alabama. I don't have to go through these scores, because if you guys watch the college football playoff, whether in this format or the previous 4-team format, their blowouts are part of college football. Blowouts have been a part of this postseason for a hot minute now, when you go all the way back even to the 4-team college football playoff model. So what it really comes down to is that you just don't want these teams in. You want no group of 5 teams in. Although shout out to Joe Tessitore, who did say the quiet part out loud when he's talked about lawsuits.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you're going to have to have one group of 5 team in here, because otherwise you're going to have a lawsuit on your hand. I mean, he's right about that. But I mean,
well, you don't need a lawsuit necessarily. You just don't call it a national championship, because it's not national. Now, here's to blow by some of this stuff, because honestly, the discourse was mind numbing. The committee needs to get better at seeding the tournament. Okay, say what you want about the NCAA basketball tournament. Mm-hmm. They manipulate seeds and lines. They do it under the guise of like, oh, well, here's a principle.
I know.
But they know how to give us the matchups early that we want, and they know how to give us the matchups that they hope we will get late. They could have easily tweaked this, okay? Easily.
Well, they already did once.
But I said this before Selection Sunday. I'm disappointed how this bracket turned out. I'm going to tell you how I would have fixed this. I said this at the time. Ole Miss was ripe for a loss. Ripe. But they played the one team in the field that they beat the absolute brakes off of. Mm-hmm. So when you see that team again and you dominate them the way that they did in the regular season, you now go into that game knowing if we play at a level we know we're capable of, we're going to win the football game. Mm-hmm. You one tweak. If Ole Miss is the 5 playing number 12 James Madison, I promise you that is a much, 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 much different football game than we got. And I didn't watch a single second of Ole Miss Tulane, because I knew Ole Miss was going to absolutely put it on Tulane and the Sex quarterback. Okay. James Madison, I thought, acquitted themselves more than nicely.
Agreed.
A, they covered. B, if you watch the first quarter of that football game, yes, they could not stop Oregon. Fair enough. But they drove twice down inside the 15-yard line on their first 2 drives. and they came away with 3 points. If they come away with 10 points in those first 2 drives, it's 13-10. And you're sitting here going, wow, look at James Madison. Okay. The other part of this was we got a rematch of Alabama, Oklahoma. Boring. Everybody wanted to see Alabama, Miami.
Yes.
You could have easily made it Alabama, Miami. Could have easily made that the 7-10 game. Then the other game, Miami against Texas A&M. If you make it Alabama, Miami, now it's Texas A&M, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Both SEC teams, but they didn't play this year. You know who's got a lot of fucking history? Texas A&M and Oklahoma. So they have to get out of this brain mind meld of giving us games. Well, this is what we had last week. We had Tulane in front of James Madison last week. And it's like, no. And right down to Joe, I don't believe Georgia and Ohio State should be 2 and 3. We shouldn't see Georgia and Ohio State until the championship game. That's not how it's going to work out.
No, it's not.
So I think they got the whole construct wrong. And that's where they need to borrow a page from. It's usually the same people, by the way.
Yeah, well,
who are on these committees.
But the thing is, we don't have enough data points to begin with.
We do not.
So I want to make that abundantly clear. What we do,
they should put a hard and fast rematch in.
I agree with you on that. But also, I'm more fixated on this idea of blowouts and the essentially what I think is being intellectually dishonest about what you're saying when you talk about these blowouts like JMU or Tulane or whatever it is. I mentioned the Tennessee-Ohio State game, 42-17. That was never even close, right? You go back to the Penn State-SMU game, 38-10. Was not even close. That close. Okay. You go to the quarterfinals, right? Where you ended up having Notre Dame put it on Georgia 23-10. That was a dominating game by Notre Dame. Of course, you go back the year before that when it was just at the 14 format. I mean, we're talking about a blowout game with Michigan 34-13 over Washington. We're talking about a national championship game the year before that where Georgia destroyed TCU 65-7.
Well, they would argue, TCU, you see, was...
Well, they didn't belong there, right? They didn't belong there. You go back to 21-22, Georgia, Alabama, 33-18. In the Orange Bowl against Michigan, it was 34-11. Alabama 52, Ohio State 24 in the 2021 season.
Sure.
Okay. So there's examples. Alabama in the Rose Bowl in that semifinal, 31-14. The point that I'm making here, and notice Notre Dame keeps coming up, right? The point here is, and it has to be, it's worth repeating. If you're fixated on the blowouts, you're being intellectually dishonest about what you have issues with the college football playoff. If you're going to make this about name brands and name brands only, you are going to need a wholesale change to college football altogether. Just go get your super conferences already. Just go do it. But as it currently is constructed with the entirety of college football, yes, the group of 5 teams should be rewarded and making it to the college football playoff for doing what you asked them to do. And in certain situations, things shake out in a way that Duke does some weird stuff and the ACC produces a weird result. And Duke wins the ACC championship. They're not in, and Miami gets in. I got a text from my guy, George Sedano. And he's like, I hope Manny's enjoying that ACC championship. And I'm thinking about this is after they beat Texas A&M. I'm like, yeah, he should be enjoying it. And hey, you should be thanking Manny for doing it because Miami's not in this situation if Duke doesn't go out there and win the ACC championship. Yeah. Also, was this more about Miami or was this more about Texas A&M? And yet again, the imbalanced nature of college football. Because when you take a look back at who Texas A&M actually played this year, you notice the 2 games that they actually played somebody worth a damn? What ended up happening, Joe?
Lost both.
Lost both games. Miami defensively, as most people predicted, Miami's defense was going to make life hell for Texas A&M. You throw the win conditions on top of what we saw on Saturday, it made for a game that probably was closer than it needed to be. I think Miami missed 3 field goals in this game. Quarterbacks on both sides were sailing the ball because of the wind. All those conditions made it closer than it needed to be. But now this is twice where Texas A&M has played somebody worth a damn and you lose. And that's the other reason why some of these college football playoff games make no sense because you finally see a team in this bracket that you haven't seen all season long. And that's also what leads to blowouts, not just because it's a group of 5 team.
Sure.
So anyway,
it's also
the whole construct's messed up.
It's also incredibly ignorant to think that players at the group of 5 level can compete with the power conferences. James Madison literally had 23 players leave their team.
Yes.
Follow their coach, go to Indiana
and win
the worst power conference team and make the playoffs.
I know.
Last year. Look around at all. Diego Pavia began his career at New Mexico State. Like this is not hard math, guys.
Yeah.
The circle has been flattened out in college football. Fair enough. Georgia's defensive front, Alabama's defensive front, Miami's defensive front. These are all big boys.
Mm-hmm.
But, you look at some of the teams that they lost to and you go, man, like Miami is the most frustrating team ever to watch, by the way.
Easy.
They would be better off just leaving Mario at home and just having someone else coach the team. But it's so hard to watch them. They're the most talented team in college football.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I took the ticket in week 2.
And yet.
That's why I took the ticket in week 2.
And yet. This is like the expert break here. Expert number 1, Gordon Miller Lending. Experts when it comes to refinancing, understanding closing costs are ridiculous. It only benefits the bank, not you. Even though the sell is you're getting a slightly lower rate. Do the math on that. It's not necessarily working out in your favor unless you plan on keeping your mortgage for about 8 years. Thing is, nobody does that because your situation has changed, whether it's consolidating debt, home remodel. Hey, the rates go up and down. You want to take advantage of it. So contact our friends at Miller Lending and find out how paying closing costs is silly work and how all the other ads that you hear where they're talking about 30-year lowest rates ever, there's usually a catch with that. No catches, no games, no gimmicks. Contact our friends at Miller Lending. And if it doesn't make sense for you to refinance right now, they're going to tell you it doesn't make any sense and let you know when it's the right time. So call them directly at 919-447-3377. Take that thing to close, and who knows? Maybe you'll get a Roback Polo from us. Again, call them at 919-447-3377. Speaking of experts, the year-end approaches. Chris Brassfield is about to enter the busy season, but he always has time for you. Based in Homer, Alaska, they got an office in the RTP as well. Check them out online at brassfieldaccounting.com. It goes beyond the paperwork. A fractional CFO gets into all sorts of categories that you, as a small business owner, might not be well-versed in, not your area of expertise. You just don't have the time for it. But this is what Chris does as a fractional CFO for your business. So contact him today at brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com. I like to pretend I'm a lawyer. Sometimes I'm a lawyer through osmosis, but I'm not really a lawyer. I'm not a caveman lawyer. Contact actual lawyers. Whitaker and Hamer, WH.lawyer. Again, that's WH.lawyer, attorneys and counsels at law. They can handle some personal legal needs, small business legal needs, contracts, you name it, they can do it for you. It all starts with a visit to their website at WH.lawyer. And of course, our friends at Hometown Realty. This is the best and worst time of the year. You might get invited to some other people's houses. It's a little potluck action, a little holiday brunch. And you're like, wow, this is a gorgeous where I love your neighborhood. That's the other problem with Quarter Zip Show. Bumps up against the mic. It's such a rookie. Again, it's my neck. It's my neck. Anyway, our friends at Hometown Realty can put you in the neighborhood of your dreams. Looking for some new construction. They know some builder incentives. I've seen a lot of new construction just sitting there. Okay. Something tells me Hometown Realty knows how to get the incentives out of that. So contact them today at myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. Anybody can podcast on a Monday. We've got the Panthers in the NFL. We got the college football playoff and the bowl games. And now we get to hoops, Joe. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the Wolfpack, the Blue Devils, or the Tar Heels?
Let's start with the Wolfpack.
All right, let's start with the Wolfpack. They went back to the scene of the crime, Joe.
They did.
Back to Greensboro. The pivotal moment of the year. A last-second victory, buzzer-beating victory over South Carolina in an exhibition game that kind of set the tone for the entirety of the season. Don't think that's not lost on our guy, J.C. Zemble, over at the Wolfpacker.
I love it.
Because that's how he got the question started for Will Wade after their win. A very convincing win over Ole Miss. Chris Beard not here to talk about Ole Miss basketball after that. So JC got the questions going, essentially going, hey, what was it like to be back in the building after that exhibition game? And where are you now? Followed by a line that went viral.
Not really, but it's a good point. I mean, we've gotten better. We're not where we need to be. We're not where we want to be, but we're better than we were. We're not who we're going to be, but we're better than who we were. So I thought defensively in the first half, we were really good outside of the last 3 minutes, but that was our offense once again turned the ball over. They did a great job. They scouted our end of half play. So it's a read option type play, and they scouted that and they ran through the pass. That was great coaching on their part. But yeah, I mean, look, we've made progress, but they all count from here on out in the ACC, and so we got a lot of work ahead of us, within the league.
Is there a sense of relief knowing that you
No,
no?
there's no relief. No, we've got 18 league games and zero relief. I mean, look, we've got to play better than we played today. We've got to get better every day. And so, no, there's no, I mean, look, I'm happy we won. It's great. But when we get back on the 26th, I mean, we've got massive amounts of work that we've got to do. We've got massive amounts of improvement that we have to make. And, I mean, look, we've put ourselves, you always want to try to win double-digit non-conference. We fell short of that. I think we won, what? We're 9-4, something like that. What are we? 8-4, 9-4. What are we, Craig?
9-4.
9-4. You got to know that.
Yeah.
All right, we're 9-4. I mean, so you want to try to win 10. But, look, we need some guys to step up. I mean, that's just what it is. We played 7 guys basically today. I played the 7 guys I feel most comfortable with. The 7 guys that give me confidence. The 7 guys basically that I trust. Hopefully Santa brings me an 8th man for Christmas. That would be nice. But I mean, there's one year, my previous job, we played in a high major league. We came in second in the league and won a ton of games and played 6 guys. We had 4 of the top 5 in minutes. And we played our best player. He played 40 minutes for 8 straight games to end the year. So I got no problem playing 7 guys. We played Scotty a little bit, but it's kind of but we need an 8th guy to step up, and we need an 8th guy, and that starts with practice and allowing us to trust you in practice, and then when we put you in the games, producing in the games. So that's really what we need to continue take the step, and then we got to keep these other guys. We got to have these other guys play at a high level.
So that was Will Wade after the win against Ole Miss. He's just looking for an 8th guy for Christmas, Joe. And what he's referencing there is the fact that Darian Williams struggled again. He said shoulder's not an issue, even though he struggled again. So people were like, he took himself out of the Heritage game over at Reynolds Coliseum. Was not good in this game. But you're also seeing players that you can think, all right, we'll put him back on the floor. Didn't play, right? So I guess that's what he's getting at. I'm comfortable playing with these guys, and everything is related to practice. And the reason why those guys like Arsenault didn't play was because of the way they did not play well in practice. So that's where we are. And again, this was a convincing win. Yes, Ole Miss did, I think, outscore NC State in the second half, right? I mean, but they didn't completely see the lead evaporate like Duke and Texas Tech. But again, that's also a different kind of game, which we'll get to in a second. But Will, still working through it, still trying to maximize what he has in this team as they get ready for conference play.
Let's start with the positives.
Yes.
This is now the 4th game since the hostile takeover. They've given up an average of 61 points in those games. Defensively, they're playing in a way defensively that is going to help them win basketball games, including in the first half of this game where they held Ole Miss to 26 points. Okay. That's number 1. Now, number 2, Paul McNeil, after an unbelievable game where you're like, hey, man, we got to hope somebody catches a heater to win. Well, obviously not quite as big of a heater, but he made 6 threes, scores 19 points.
Played fine.
Leads the way for them. And again, Kadir Copeland, it continues to be the bus driver of this team with 16, 9, and 7. Now to the bad. It's okay to miss on some players. In Arsenault, potentially, obviously, right? And then it's okay if a guy isn't what you thought he was in Darian Williams. But it's hard to watch the Texas Tech game and see Christian Anderson and JT Toppin and go, oh, Texas Tech didn't need Darian Williams. So some people are better as a second or third banana.
Yeah.
It's just the truth of the matter. That doesn't mean Darian Williams can't be a second or third banana for NC State.
Right.
1 point ain't it.
No.
And they have a Darian Williams problem officially. Highest paid player on their team. He has to be better than that. Like straight up. And don't give me any of this Svechnikov bullshit. Oh, he does other things.
No. That's not why he's here. That's not your. That's not.
No.
That is not ACC preseason player of the year material. That is not. No.
Don't give me any of that.
No.
The other concerning thing to me is Matt Abel playing 7 minutes in this game. They need Matt Abel. So they're gonna have to put their work boots on. Freshmen are tough. As we saw with Paul McNeil last year. Most of it's on the defensive side. Can't sit here and say, hey, I'm going to reward people like Alan Breed for playing defense, and then throw Abel out there if he's not practicing the right way or doing whatever. But they need Matt Abel. They need Darian Williams to go where they want to go. Full credit to Will Wade. Midstream, he has helped fix them defensively in these last 4 games. That's your primary example.
So we've talked about the last week or so is that you gotta decide what you want to be. That's why I've asked the question: what is this NC State team? I know what Duke is. I know what Carolina is, actually, as yet another Henry Vesar and Caleb Wilson show, okay, with the return of Seth Trimble, who made some key threes, which we'll get to in a second. I know what they are or what they're trying to be. There was an idea of what NC State was supposed to be. Darian Williams was a key part of that. That's not been the case. So are you going to get by defensively and then piece this thing together offensively, get enough offensively to get these wins? They almost pulled it off against Kansas. Almost. And
Williams was excellent at the end of the regulation and overtime.
Yes. So what do you want to be? Defensively, this is where good coaching comes in. And Will Wade has decided, all right, what gives us the best chance is I'm going to put the guys on the floor that understand their defensive assignments, and we're going to make this thing work, and then we'll try to piece it from there and get better. So I give Will Wade a lot of credit for, as I said, last week, after he went viral for the whole this is in kindergarten. One thing I cannot stand about coaches is when they try to coach the team they thought they had rather than coaching the team they do have. He quickly identified, this is what we got. Here's what we're going to do. That doesn't mean they can continue to improve, or like you said about Matt Abel, like how are you going to bring him in? Like these are all things. I mean, look, it's like we talk about Duke, right?
You can cut your losses on certain players, but I would not on Abel or Williams, obviously.
Obviously not. It's like Duke as well. Again, NC State and Duke are in completely different stratospheres as it relates to what these seasons are about. All right. And Duke in this loss to Texas Tech was just another one of these examples of they are still on the fact-finding mission. They're still like figuring themselves out. The roles, it's not, we talked about with Brendan Marks last week, when it's not Cameron Boozer and he's looking around and he's picking things up in the second half, right? Well, who's going to help us out along the way, right? All those things and role defining and seeing how everything works makes a lot of sense at this time of the year. But again, Duke's doing it at a completely different level, all right? Duke has put themselves in a position with their schedule, regardless of the loss, to still be considered one of the top teams, not just in the ACC, but in the country. They weren't going to go undefeated. And John Shire also knew they weren't going to go undefeated. He straight up said they've been playing with fire. They've been successful in some of these situations, but I thought his post-game press conference was actually pretty interesting. Again, this is off of YouTube.
It was disappointing overall. Proud of our team with what we've done through 12 games. For me, it's taking time. How can I be better for our team? How can our staff be better? And then how can our guys come back with, a great purpose and great clarity for how we're going to take this next step. I'll say one more thing too. We've been playing with fire a little bit, right? I mean, we've done a great job getting leads in games. It's not easy to get leads. So we're doing good stuff to do that. But you can point to many different plays throughout the game where it's not just 2 points or it's not just 3 points, some of the plays we make, technicals, flagrants, losing shooters, those plays are unacceptable. We're not going to make them. I'm going to help our guys moving forward, and we're gonna come back ready to go after break.
So the playing with fire line that Shire dropped in that post-game press conference, I thought was interesting because we spent a lot of time talking about Duke's resume so far. It's been pretty impressive.
The best in the country.
Okay. Michigan's been on a heater. I get all that stuff. But in terms of like high-level basketball games, like the Arkansas game, the Florida game at home, beating Kansas, the Michigan State game, they have been in some high-level basketball, which is part of the design of what John Shire is trying to do and get them ready for March. Okay. Get all that stuff. But he knows they've been playing with fire. He knows that they're like, why do you find yourself in a situation where you need Cam Boozer to make the right play? And we start coming up with the Cooper Flag comparisons from last year, which, by the way, that was another thing that I thought interesting, and that they finally lose. I feel like people have just been having this in the chamber ready to go. We're trying to make a thing out of the losses to Kansas and Houston last year, and then this one. Well, they had leads.
That's the easy take, Joe.
So that is the easy take. I find it interesting that people have been waiting on this one. They've had it in their drafts ready to go to try to make it a thing. And the context here is that when Duke is like 95% or more probability to win a game, they've lost the Kansas game, the Houston game, and now this one, as though all three games are the same thing with the same context. You know, the Kentucky game last year was at the beginning of the year. You're figuring things out. You put Cooper Flag in a winning situation, came up short, is what it is. The Houston game, we've spent a lot of time talking about that Houston game and what it was and what it wasn't. But that was last year. This is this year where they have put themselves in position to win games in the last second. Blown leads aside, it finally got them. But it wasn't just one play. It was a series of compounding mistakes. You want to oversimplify what happened against Texas Tech? Make your fucking free throws. That's a real oversimplification as to what happened at the end. Free throw awareness month hit early for Duke. And also they made some mistakes down the stretch that, hey, man, the refs got you. Like Caleb Foster, hey, clock's off. What are we doing here? And even Shire talked about it after the game. Learning the dynamics and basketball situational awareness of when you can play aggressive and when not to play aggressive, and he got him. Thoughts on the call aside?
Oh, that was a terrible call.
Terrible call.
Honestly.
Terrible call, but John's not going to focus on whether it was terrible or not. It was more of a teachable moment. So can we not with that? Like, I get that talking about Duke isn't as exciting as it used to be because Mike Krzyzewski's not there anymore. And I do feel like there's an element of people going through the motions when we talk about Duke basketball. Like, you keep going back to the same tired trope as though they're the same thing with John Shire. In fact, I was texting with Nada yesterday. Part of the biggest issue with Duke under John Shire is that, they're kind of boring, which is what they want. So you're finding things to make it spicy. That's a stretch to me to bring up Kentucky and Houston from last year and try to apply it to what we've seen with this team with a completely different makeup and a completely different key player in Cam Boozer, who has already this year shown you he has had the ability to make game-winning plays. Anyway, rant over.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you, that's the easy take, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's compare Houston and Texas Tech. Those are the last two times Duke has lost.
Yes.
I'm going to give you the deeper take that only this program can provide.
Oh, boy. What do we have here?
John Shire's birthday is August 24th.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him a Virgo.
Okay.
Do you know the compatible colors for Virgo? Of course you don't. So I Googled them for you. Are you ready?
You're on CoStar right now? What are you doing here?
Virgo is an earth sign, Joe.
Yeah.
So green represents nature, growth, health, and compassionate nurturing side. Also, Virgo means virgin, which means white and silver bring precision and cleanliness, and it appeals to their meticulous, detail-oriented nature. That actually does sound like John. Meticulous, detail-oriented nature. Do you know the one color that is not compatible with Virgo?
Red.
Sir, do I have a stat for you?
Red. I'm thinking, I'm going through the losses in my brain here. Since John Shire's been here, what's the color?
Have a stat for you.
Okay.
John Shire is 123 as the head coach of Duke basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Of those 23 losses, 9 or 40% are to teams that their primary color is red. If you expand the palette to include red, orange, maroon, which I'm going to throw in some wins over Boston College here.
Of course.
Okay. If you expand that palette, his record against teams that have none of that. Okay. No red, orange, maroon, because
like it's
Joe,
a secondary color.
because
Joe,
Joe, okay. Because Joe, this bright hue does not sync with the ethos and sensibilities of the virgin. They get riled up, uneasy, and disturbed by the presence of the bold colors. It also denotes danger, which is true for Virgos. Red adversely affects their inherent calm. Red is danger. If you expand that ballot, John Shire, all those teams, no red, 64-8. He wins 90% of his basketball games. If you just throw a smidge of that red in there, 36-15. Only 70% of his games.
Only.
But think about it. That's a huge discrepancy. May your path be clear. May your bracket be lucky.
So what you're
and may it include no red teams, Duke. I now have seen your future.
So what you're saying is Carolina this year needs to go to Lids and go find the Fred Durst,
the alternate,
the Fred Durst red UNC cap special. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me?
Hey, man, they can beat red teams. Remember, they beat Houston in the tournament the previous year.
Yeah. I mean, they beat Kansas.
They just
Kansas has red.
Lose to NC State.
Kansas
previous year.
Red is one of those secondary
yes, I
colors.
include Kansas in that mix there. Yes. The battle red for Kansas for the Jayhawks.
Speaking of
you like that?
I like that.
I just ended the year. You thought we were showing up on a Monday.
No.
You thought we were going to go through the motions on a Monday.
When do we ever go through the motions?
Or maybe not you.
I was going to say, I never go through the motions.
Not on a Monday.
I never go through the motions. Seth Trimble back. It's good news for North Carolina. Here's Hubert Davis. Shelby Swanson over the News and Observer asked about, we know what Seth is bringing to the table defensively and his versatility, but hit some threes, Joe. Hit some threes.
I mean, I just, not just Seth, I really believe that we can be a really good three-point shooting team. Thus far, we haven't been that good. And that's something that I'm waiting for, because I just feel like we have a number of guys that can consistently make shots from the outside, and that's going to be huge for us. It's going to be huge for us because of, having Henry and Caleb down low on the post. They're going to get even more attention. They were double teamed pretty much every time we threw the ball into the post. And so the only way you can loosen that up is be able to shoot from the perimeter.
So, couple big guys dominating, and you need some shoot. Where? What? Huh? Hey, shout out to Ken. When Ken dropped by, we were killing some time before recording as we were going over gifts and cheese straws and things like that, waiting for you to come up here. We talked a little bit about UNC.
I was avoiding parking tickets, just so you know.
That's fine. I don't think I got a parking ticket. I think I paid in time, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Ken says, this might be, if not already, UNC's best basketball team since 2017. This is one thing that we tend to forget about towards the tail end of the Roy Williams era. It was not all sunshine and puppy dogs and sugar and spice.
Right.
The less said about the Cole Anthony year, the better. Right.
Okay.
And even in Hubert's time, as you go through the ups and down transitions of post Roy Williams into where we are today, yes, you do have the 2022 Final Four and championship run with wins over Duke in Coach K's last season. But let's remember what that season was up until they got into the whole Iron Five dynamic with Brady Manning. A lot of people were mad at Hubert Davis. And of course,
Hubert's best team was 23-24.
You think it was 23-24?
Yeah, they went 17-3 in the league. They were a number one seed, and they lost to NC State in the ACC championship game, but it was a good team.
But
KenPom wise, number 9, KenPom 15-8 were their numbers, offense, defense, top 10
But
defense team.
this season just gotten started. We don't know what's going to happen in the ACC this year for UNC.
Right. I'm just saying, if you want to compare it, it has to be that team that won the ACC, was a number one seed.
Fair.
Yeah.
I like this team. I like its makeup. They're only going to get better as the year goes on, and they stay healthy, obviously. And Seth Trimble's X factor there. But it's also not lost on me that this team looks at peace with itself because of one consistent thing here. These are Hubert's guys. There's no more holdover stuff. These are the guys that he identified, brought in.
Yeah.
You're not trying to balance weird legacies of post Roy Williams or having Armando Bacot, RJ Davis, and what he means to the program and also the stuff. Completely fresh slate, as I've been begging UNC to do with Hubert Davis from the jump. And I don't think it should be lost on anybody that they look like this, and it's a very likable UNC team without a lot of drama because they finally got to a point where these are Hubert's guys. And this is exactly what UNC fans have been asking for. This was the task that Hubert Davis was given this offseason, by the way. Getting back to that standard of consistency. And if you look at UNC's season so far, it has been excellent from the jump. And that's a good Ohio State team, by the way, that they beat.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be fine. I know all the shiny object is on Michigan State and Michigan and all that kind of stuff, but that Ohio State team's going to be a good team, I think.
They're talented. It's a good win. In the fairness of consistency, Vesser was a third banana at Arizona, and Arizona told him, "Yeah, we don't want you.
Yes,
or we don't need you.
We don't
want you, but we don't need you. You won't play the role that you could potentially play elsewhere." So he's gone the opposite direction of Darian Williams. He's gone and taken the bull by the horns, and 17 and 10 in this game with 5 assists. I don't know if anyone thought he would be this good of a passer as he's been. Caleb Wilson continues to drive the bus, though.
Yes.
20 and 15, the block at the end. The team takes on his personality. And I agree with you, Bert. Bogavats and Evans were empties in this game from the outside. Dixon, who I think they're trying to figure out how to give him more responsibility.
Evans is your Svechnikov, by the way.
Right. Right.
He's going to be your Svechnikov.
Right.
He's affecting the game in other ways.
But it's great to see Trimble come back.
Yes.
Again, I'll repeat my points about Trimble. He was their bus driver at the end of the year last year when they made the push for the tournament. He drove the bus. Everything ran through him. And if he can adjust to Wilson being the bus driver and being a guy who creates for Wilson and Vesser, they're going to be on their way. But Shelby's right and Hubert's right. Got to make a few more of those outside shots, and that's where Bogavats and Trimble and I think Dixon has the potential to really help them.
It's the holidays. You're off from work. Hopefully, you're taking a few days off. You're kind of lounging on the couch, watching football, basketball, hockey. It's late at night. You've gone through some of the leftovers, and then it's sitting there. You made the right decision. You went to Two Roosters, and you got yourself a pint of ice cream, and you open up that freezer looking for something because you know that gummy's hitting, and you're like, I need something a little salty sweet. There it is. Staring right back at you saying, hey, what's up? You want to have a little session on the couch? Yeah. This might have been me recently with my Two Roosters pint. We might have had a moment on the couch while I was watching some late night stuff. So you can have that moment too this holiday break. Go to Two Roosters. Hey, when the Christmas is over and the kids are getting antsy and you got to get out of the house, go to Two Roosters. It's gonna be warm this week. It's a perfect week for ice cream too. So go to tworoosters.com and see their holiday flavors before they go.
Are you a fan of root beer in general?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay. The secret pint of the month this month was a root beer. And if we get our own flavor next year, which we'll begin lobbying for now.
Yeah, we do need to do that.
That root beer, if we add some sort of ripple to it, will be off the chart. Like it tastes like a root beer float. I don't know how he did it. It was amazing.
That reminds me, I have to drop by the Greystone location to get one of the leftover 12
days of Christmas.
12 days of Christmas. I can catch up.
I bet you the root beer flavor's in there.
I'm sure I can catch up. So go to tworoosters.com, check out their flavors. Better yet, just drop on by. Big thanks to our friends at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority, bugsbite.com. You're thinking of last minute gifts? You know what? How about you give the gift of a bug-free home? No contracts.
Bug off.
You can actually just buy a collection of mosquito treatments for the year if you'd like.
Actually, you can.
So go to bugsbite.com and say, hey, I'm giving you the gift of no mosquitoes this summer. So head on over to bugsbite.com and save with Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Speaking of saving, Bloomin' Blinds wants to help you save money by buying your blinds back and then applying that to your treatments. It's all
Sounds fantastic.
You know, we hear about Black Friday. It's Pink Friday. Pink Friday sale through the holidays. So head on over to bloominblinds.com. That's inblinds.com, or call them directly at 919-980-9815. You're going to buy your blinds back. It's that simple. So check them out. And of course, our friends at Longleaf Swine. You're looking to get out this holiday, like you're stuck in the house, you got family in town. What's really Raleigh? I know what it is. You go downtown and you enjoy some barbecue.
I think you had a Christmas caroling type of a session.
I had I was there last week. I had the brisket sandwich. I hadn't had the brisket sandwich in a hot minute.
Yeah.
I hit. It was good stuff.
Smash burger.
I got to get there for their steak frites. Steak frites action. They do it on Thursday. I got to get out there one of these days. Maybe I'll do it this week. Who knows? So head on over to longleafswine.com and take the family out and enjoy. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. We did get a lot of calls from over the weekend, but there was one sports topic in particular that we have not gotten to yet that I thought was appropriate for the sports phone because honestly, it best encapsulates what people saw over the weekend with the Carolina Hurricanes. If you will. But before we do that, before playing the jingle again, shout out to Daniel who likes to Photoshop. He likes to do some AI stuff. And he took us seriously with I'd like a children's choir to do the sports phone. So he went to Sonu, as I asked, and he's got two versions, Joe. This is from DJ Bosscat, the fake AI musician.
9 1 9 4 4 4 2 2 1 1. Call the OG sports phone and curse for the sports phone and curse or don't.
So that's version number 1.
It's a lot of polish.
That's a lot of
It's
polish.
a lot of polish.
Here is version number 2.
9 1 9 4 4 4 2 2 1 1. Call the OG sports phone and curse or don't.
I like version 2.
I like the end of that one.
Yeah.
The end of that one's good.
What I really need is, it just lacks the authenticity of the teacher playing the piano and you can hear the teacher singing, but not the kids.
I gotcha.
And I need the one crying kid.
I got you.
So
I got you.
But I appreciate
very
Daniel
good
because the second one in particular, enjoyable.
That was very good. Let's go to 1919.
Fuck the Florida Panthers. Fuck Brad Marchand, whatever the fuck you want to call him. And until the NHL cracks down on these sons of bitches for playing goon hockey, nobody's going to win. That is all.
Apparently that wasn't all because he called back.
Actually, you know what? Forget that. Because waiting on the NHL to crack down on the Florida Panthers is like waiting for the entirety of the Epstein files to come out. So what Carolina needs to do is go get a goon, and anytime Brad Marchand, whatever the fuck you want to call him, steps on the ice, put him on his ass! I have PTSD from the Eastern Conference Finals, if you couldn't tell. Okay, bye.
Well, 19, 20. Don't forget the Boston years. So I'm sure you've gotten them all. You got them all. So I'm not trying to dismiss that from you.
This is a 469.
Till we fire the fucking Florida Panthers into the goddamn sun. Jesus Christ. That was a joint choke job by the Canes. They need to take care of business there. It would have helped if the referees gave us the power play there in overtime when Jarvis clearly got tripped and sent flying into the goal and hurt and God knows whatever that is. But what are the odds that those 2 points that Florida stole / the Canes gave away, however you want to do it, what are the odds that those 2 points are the 2 points that make the difference in putting the Panthers in the playoffs in April? I'm going to put a little money on it. Says that's exactly what's going to happen. Fuck the Panthers. Go Canes, go Heels. Later, bye.
And this is from a 336.
I think it's cool and all that the Carolina Hurricanes are consistently one of the best regular season franchises in the NHL now. But as someone who watches or pays attention to the sport quite frequently, let's just call a spade. The way that this team is constructed, the youth, the lack of size, the lack of physicality, the lack of skill, or at least the skill that shows up the way it needs to, we're looking at a case where the Carolina Hurricanes are just the Seattle Supersonics. They will always be there. They'll be flashy. They'll make people kind of pay attention to them and even talk about them. But they'll never win the big one. And the Florida Panthers, well, they're the Chicago Bulls of the NHL, okay? They get shit done. They kick ass and take names. If you don't believe me, let's see how this season plays out. Thanks much. Go Canes.
So it's very important that the Hurricanes don't get a 3-0 lead in the state of Florida. That's what I took away from this weekend.
It's a terrible idea. Here's I have spent a good chunk of this season saying chill out. Okay, just chill out. When you put the entirety of the season in context, it's been a very good year for the Carolina Hurricanes. Look at the injuries, etc. We don't need to rehash that. But the Florida game was the first regular season game I've watched this year that makes me go, all right, now we know what the problem is. And it's not so much that the Panthers are clearly in the head of the Carolina Hurricanes. And that's a carryover effect of the Eastern Conference Finals, the last couple of meetings, right? This team is not going to get over the Panthers if they continue to act as though they're above it. They're never going to get over the Florida Panthers if they put one of your best guys into the locker room, you wait 10 minutes to retaliate. And I know that's not Rod's MO. It's never been his MO. We've talked to Rod about this a whole bunch of times. His whole thing is they're more worried about the retaliatory penalties that happen, which then gets to the other thing. All right, if you're worried about the retaliatory penalties, you have to establish from the jump what it's going to be about that night and not react. Because the Panthers have zero problems telling you what it's going to be about tonight. And then they catch you flat-footed thinking you're going to outskate them, you're going to outskill them, you're just doing what we do. Yeah, they do what you do, but they do it with a particular venom that you cannot match. And I don't know why. Is it because of the coach? Is it because of the players you've assembled? Is it a mindset? Or is it just simply, hey, man, they're in your head. They're in your head. And that once again presented itself against the Florida Panthers. A team that, by the way, at the beginning of the season, with the injuries and everything else, you were thinking, hey, man, the Panthers are kind of going through it right now. Certainly did not look that way against the Carolina Hurricanes the other night.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3-0 in the third period. So you kind of sort of got to close that one out. But here are the names: Marshawn, Bennett, Reinhardt. All very familiar. Then you go turn around and you get a 3-0 lead on the Lightning. And here are the names: Point, Gensel. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like a Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky.
It's
so
the same thing. And it's also my other issue real quick with the Hurricanes, as we've discussed. It's like, I get the depth scoring, man. And it's great that Jordan Stahl puts it on the board or this or that. Like, nah, man. Aho shouldn't be going 5 games without scoring. Andrei Svechnikov, come on, man.
Sure.
Let's go. Anyway,
but that's a classic Rod-ism. You know, you gotta approach every game and the process. And so, to your point, I think perhaps they got caught flat-footed in the third period of that game.
You're going through your process.
Whatever of 82.
Well, yeah,
right,
there's this.
We're up 3-0, and Bussy's in goal, and he hasn't lost.
There is a killer instinct that the Panthers have. This is where we start getting into strip away the analytics, strip out the Corsi, Fenwick, and process, and yada yada yada. And sometimes you watch sports and you look at a team and go, oh, you like to say assholes and motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Canes are not motherfuckers. They haven't been motherfuckers. I don't think they're ever going to be motherfuckers.
Maybe the trade for Kadri gets hastened. He's a motherfucker.
But you also need a coach that wants you to be a motherfucker.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm getting at?
Absolutely.
So it's just funny. It's funny how things have shifted with the Canes and what the expectations are. And they clearly raised those expectations and they understand what the goal is and they're trying to win a cup and all that kind of stuff. But you're watching a team do that to you. And your response is to just process. No! Be some motherfuckers.
I thought they actually, well, obviously the way that it ended with Tampa was not great.
No.
Obviously.
No.
But I did like the response of losing the way that they did against Florida, coming back the next day and be like, nope, here we are. And it's 3-0. But then the same thing happened to them. So,
but yeah, congrats to the Canes. They finally did it to me.
Well, now that Jarvis is out too.
I've been
it
zen.
Changes the equation.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to be zen about the Canes all regular season long. And then that damn Florida Panthers game has me going, would you guys stop? Just be motherfuckers. Merry Christmas.
It does make me wonder, like, is it Tom Dundon who like messed with some sort of ancient burial grounds that like what their luck is just not very good. You've like Slavin's been out the whole year, then all of a sudden Slavin comes back and then Jarvis gets hurt. And you're like
Jarvis or Slavin gets fucking run.
However many years you've had. Well, like last year is one of the few years in the playoffs where like, well, then even the last round they weren't healthy defensively. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like they can't seem to get the stars to align for them.
All right, let's gonna wrap it up for today's show. Y'all have a good rest of the week. We'll be we've already recorded it, but the year in review will drop Christmas morning.
early, midnight. Santa's dropping off the gifts. We'll be dropping off the gift to the OG. And then we'll do a mailbag next week. As I said, by all means, we'll figure, I don't know when, but we'll do one next week.
Yep.
And we'll have some fun with that. So Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next week for our final mailbag.